Okay, this is issue 27, and so we're going to use this pack, and we're finishing up this piece from the last issue. So I'll do that and come back. And as you can see, we're now at this stage. So we've got this one here with that piece put on it, that one ready to go, and that one ready to go, and that is the end of 27. And so this is the next one that we'll be doing. Here we are with number 28, and that's this package here. This will be the right shoulder blade installation and the building of the left shoulder main joint. So this is what we're going to do next, and I will open everything out and start. Okay, in this step you can see I've put the tube partially way in, and so you just simply collapse it in. The next step is to place the shoulder blade on it and then place the pin through it, and it'll come out looking like this here. I'll be back when I've done that. In this step we start to assemble the left shoulder, just like the right shoulder, and we've got 3 screws to go with this one, and this piece that we finished putting the black pieces in, and those are dried. And when I get done with it, I will come back and we'll go to the next step. Because in the final assembly of this part, these 2 screws are going to be never seen again, and they hold the entire shoulder joint together. I figured what I'd do is put a little bit of super glue around each head to stop them from backing out. Obviously, if we ever needed to get back in there, the super glue would come loose, but it'll just stop the vibration loosening of it from the hot and cold cycling of just everyday normal wear and tear. So since I've got some of this thick super glue here, basically just a little bit down in there, just to stop the screw from backing out. And so that'll glue in there. You don't have to use a lot. You don't actually even have to cover the screw where the Phillips head will go. Just a little bit of a tip. This is for number 29, and corresponding pack to go with it. Oops, sorry, wrong pack. That's for the next one. And let's see here. Okay. That's what's going to be in this one here. So like this shoulder, just like this shoulder here, this one will pretty much be almost exactly the same. And so I'll be back when I've assembled this part as they have here. Yeah, as you can see, it's a matter of putting in the pieces all the way around and then closing it up with the spring. So when I've finished that, I'll come back, and if I have any extra tips, I'll say something then. Whenever I'm cutting anything off of a sprue, I'm very careful how I cut it. I've got these little flush cutters here. You can pretty much find them on any site that deals with modeling, and they're pretty inexpensive. If you get a really cheap set, you can find them as low as about £2.50, and that you can. It'll take a while to get them in from China, but on places like Alibaba, they're pretty inexpensive. If you get them more locally, sometimes they'll be a little more, but not very much. You know, I think the most I've ever seen for a set of these side cutters, these flush cutters, was about £5. Also, when cutting them off the sprue, you want to make sure that you cut way back, and before you cut up to the line, because especially with this being chrome plated, you have to be very careful, because you can peel the chrome on this if you're not careful. They have a layer of copper, and then they put this chroming over the copper. So these are electroplated, and so you got to be delicate with it. Remember, because every time you cut the plastic, it will mar it. So the less marring you can do, the better off for the overall effect. That's one of the reasons why they've tried to put the sprues in such a place as that you won't see them when they're installed, which was quite good. All right. These are all been trimmed off their sprues. It's hard to tell if you can actually see, but there's a little bit of a blemish right there on that one where it was cut loose, and the same on the other side, right next to the thumb there. It's hard to see, I know. Anyway, each one of these goes in here, but they only go one direction, so it'd be hard to mess them up, because the tails will be, longer in one than the other, etc. As like the first time, you can't really do this wrong. The only way to put it together, it's got 3 nipples here, 2 for the screws, and 1 as a guide. Same as the other side, just put it together the same exact way. As before, you can see I've put a little super glue around the head just to kind of stop them from backing out. Just a little bit of super glue thick. And of course I haven't clogged the actual ability for the screwdriver to be able to get in there and loosen them if you ever had to. This is the next issue. And as you can see, we're going to be doing the shoulder blade for this side. As you can see, we've already done the shoulder blade for that side. Now it's this for the left side. I understand that there's a problem with the left side, is that it goes in really, really tight. So we'll have to lubricate it, or I have an idea that I might be able to take the pin from one of the other sides and utilize it instead. But I don't know if that'll work or not yet. I'm still looking into that. This is issue number 31 with the shoulder. So this is the shoulder blade for the left side of the Terminator. So we'll see how tough it is to get this one together. And they also have us putting together some other components as well. Let me take a look at this and I'll be right back. Again, like the first shoulder blade, we take the tube and we push the tube inside this one. One thing I did is I made sure that the tube was open at both ends so it didn't bind as much. And something else I found out that nobody else seems to say is that this is actually a metal pin, even though it's got a plastic cap, which is what I thought was quite interesting. So yeah, it's the plastic cap can be damaged, but the metal pin is pretty sturdy. Okay, I'll be back when we install the shoulder blade, and I'll tell you how it goes. And okay, before I installed the plastic shim, the tube that goes in here, I opened it up using the screwdriver tip. The tip of the screwdriver. I just kind of put it in and, twisted it on both ends. Also, when pushing the piece in, I made sure that I twisted this at the same time. And as you can see, it's actually either that or they've changed the tolerances, because it operates exactly the same as the other one. And it wasn't any harder really to get in than the last one. I think it's just a matter of taking your time, making sure that you, as you're working it, pushing the pin in, that you also maneuver this backwards and forwards. And what that does is that moves the pin inside of the plastic sleeve so that it doesn't bind as tightly as the other one did, or as most people seem to be having trouble with, I should say. All right, on to the next section. All right, the next one is to place this piece here into this hole, and they want us to glue it in. Most of the time I've seen people put it straight or try to put it straight, but I was looking on some of the photographs of the Terminator, and because of the way the shoulder blade is, it actually wants to come in at a different angle. It doesn't, they don't, on the original, because the pipe has to bypass this part here, it comes up and around like that. If you have it like this, it's then got to make a funny jog around this. So I'm pretty sure that what they were originally asking for is for it to be at a slight angle like this. All right, I'll be back as soon as I work all this out. As you can see by the alignment, how that piece just slightly off to the side, so any pipe attached to it will very definitely be able to miss the main piece here. So as you can see, it's just slightly off at an angle. And so far in all the videos I've ever seen, nobody's ever talked about this, so I thought I'd make sure I pointed that out. Okay, I'm now super gluing this piece in here. It's nice and solid. All right, and that completes this one. I'll see you in the next episode, number 32, where we will be, by the looks of it, attaching this to the inside of one of these. And this, I think, is the shoulder pin. So we'll be able to put the shoulders together. Here we are, issue number 32. And as you can see, you got these parts here. So yep, we're going to put together the right hand side shoulder pin, and that's means that you need to have your arm and have it ready for this one. Okay, so here are the parts for this one, and means we're going to need the right shoulder again. And the first thing we're going to do is we're going to install on our right shoulder this component here. And by the looks of it, with the shoulder blade at the back, like that, this is going to be, this part here is going to be facing downward. Yes, it's got a thing so you can't put it wrong. Yes, okay. So to do this first, what we've got to do is we've got to glue in this piece here. Okay, that's now been installed, and I'm going to screw it in to that, and I'll be right back. In this issue, we have two different types of screws. We've got the long ones and the short ones, and these are 3mm by 6mm, and these are PMs. So these are the ones we're going to use to screw this in. Okay, so now we're going to prep these. I never glued this one in place because I wasn't sure at the time exactly what they wanted and how they wanted it, or how it was going to go, or if I was going to need to do any modifications. So this is the one that they're calling for here, and it's ready to go. As you can see, these ones here have a hex head, so we're going to have to find the hex, or otherwise known as the Allen key wrench that they gave us a couple of magazines back, and so that's one of the things we're going to need for this. We've got the arm ready, and as you can see, we install that. Because the arm is tight going into here, I'm going to put the arm in to the shoulder, and oops, sorry, I'm going to put the arm into the shoulder first, and I'll be right back. As you can see, I've now got them together, and what I'll do is I will glue this one in place on this side, and then I will glue the other one on the other side. This goes in through like this, and it rotates until it locks in on its placement there. And as you can see, then this one goes in, and again it's got the same as the other one for the other side here. Yeah. So once that all goes together, we'll then be able to lock that together nice and tight. All right, so here we go. We have the shoulder put together. And the funny thing is, if you were to hang it up by that bolt there, it kind of hangs pretty well. So we shall see how this all goes in the end. Okay, as you can see now, at the end of issue number 32, we have one completed arm, and I did put in all of the new stiffeners for the fingers. They've done pretty good, but to be quite honest, I think I'm still going to try and find a better solution. I've got an idea using what they've given us, plus possibly some of the retro parts of the screws that we have from the other issues. I don't know that it's going to work. It's only an idea, but I have noticed something that with when you're gluing it, it glues it to one side. It doesn't glue it to the pin, no matter how hard you try to keep it. So they seem to start out really nice and tight, and then they kind of loosen up. So I don't know if that's just because the pin is broken loose on one side or not. I don't know. I'm still working on that. I really want these fingers to be able to grip that gun so that I can pose it. We'll see how it goes. But that's for a later date. And to be quite honest, yeah, as you can see, this is, we finished up all of this and was quite successful. Next issue looks like we're going to get the other side, same as this one here. And then we're going to be able to install it on this side, and it looks like we probably get the first, that looks kind of like where the backbone comes together, the shoulders possibly. We'll see how this all goes. I'm pretty sure that's what that is. Anyway, see you next week.